Going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. So on Zoom today, like I said a few days back, I don't have the studio because I'm home for Thanksgiving break. But I didn't want to go almost 2 weeks without doing nothing. A lot going on in the world of sports, so I figured let me do something at least. So I figured let's do something today. But first, I got to talk about the Jets. Oh my God! Every year, they do this to us. Oh my God! They bring in Aaron Rodgers, and they bring in this great team. Like they're finally going to be good, and look what happened. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt 4 plays in. They start playing with Zach Wilson. They're right. Maybe he's learned a thing or two. Maybe they can sneak into the playoff. Zach Wilson isn't that good. Maybe the team is just good enough around where they can squeeze 9-10 wins out of this team and sneak in the playoffs. Won't do anything, but they haven't been to playoffs in 13 years, or at least they get in. But no. Now the season is over. 32-6? Come on. They have 1 touchdown in the last 3 games. They went 41 straight drives without a touchdown. They got 1 touchdown, and then that's all they scored. They have 1 touchdown in the last 3 freaking games. That's terrible. Zach Wilson is terrible. He was just slightly better this year. He couldn't get any worse. No wonder he was better. He's not good. That was an abysmal draft pick by Joe Douglas. 2nd overall? You kidding me? Come on. As bad as Mac Jones is, he was probably be better off with the Jets than Zach Wilson. Like, he's freaking terrible. Even Justin Fields, who isn't very good and is looking like he's a bust, might be better than Zach Wilson. Yep. Packers, on my Twitter space. Thank you, Packers, for tuning in. He got benched. Yeah, Packers obviously isn't very happy with Mac Jones. And he shouldn't be. He's probably just as unhappy as he is with Zach Wilson as I am at this point. But my God, also, this offense is abysmal. The offensive line is atrocious. So many injuries. Vera Tucker, again, out for the year. 2nd straight season-ending injury in the first half of the year for him. It's been a revolving door at center. Kyle McGovern's hurt. Got rookie from Wisconsin in there now. Joe Tittman. DeJuan Brown, who's awful anyway, was a left tackle to start the year. He's on IR. Now Mekhi Becton, he sucks anyway. Joe Douglas completely missed with him. Now he's probably has a high ankle sprain. MRI will confirm that today. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out for the season. O-line is depleted. It's horrible. The only NFL caliber O-lineman they have right now is Laken Tomlinson, left guard. He's pretty good. And I guess Joe Tittman, but he's a rookie, so he's still learning. Other than that, who else do they have? Max Mitchell is a okay swing tackle. He's not a starter. They're starting. I don't even know who else they're starting at this point. Becton is not a starting caliber O-lineman. He's terrible. And who's their O-lineman? The guy Xavier Newman or some crap. He's atrocious. Their O-line is abysmal. Like, Hack doesn't know what he's doing. He's a horrible play caller. Terrible coach. Like you see, has Aaron Rodgers. He's terrible. Like, he's got a quarterback that's not that good, but they're stuck with him. A bad offensive line. Outside of Gary Wilson, there isn't that many weapons on this team, to be honest. Al Lazard's a drop machine. Conklin's okay. I like Rucker, but they're not going to scare anybody. Who are their other receivers? No one scaring you. Xavier Gibson's a good returner. He's also a fumbling machine. Fumbled on the opening freaking kickoff. Jason Brownlee hasn't done a damn thing this year. None of our other running backs really scare anybody. Dalvin Cook's wash. Obviously, Michael Carter is now an Arizona Cardinal. And you got, Abanikana was finally activated, and they didn't put him into a garbage time, of course. Like, the offense is abysmal. And Hack doesn't know what he's doing. He's got to run the ball Brees Hall. I don't understand. I get it last week because they were, they went down big. They went down 16-0 in the 2nd quarter. Eventually, they went down, 23-6. Of course, it ended up being 32-6, so they have thrown the ball. But, like, week in and week out, he won't commit to the run. I don't understand. This team needs to win by running the ball and leaning on what's maybe the best defense in football. They have a top 3 defense in this league, and they need to win by leaning on it and by running the ball. And every week, Brees Hall has maybe 10 or 12 carries. And I don't understand. I just don't. Makes no sense. And don't get me started with Robert Sala. I'm done with him. I was going back and forth with my buddy Ashton on Twitter. He was talking that Sala's not the problem. I think he's not the main problem. The main problem is obviously Zach Wilson and just an abomination of a quarterback. You know, the offensive line is terrible. I blame Joe Douglas. You know, obviously he can't help injuries, but when he got here, and you know, he got here right before the season started in 2019. And he said, "Oh, it starts up front. You know, I'm going to build it up the line," and he hasn't done it. Look at all the guys he's brought in. Mekhi Becton's a complete bust. Vera Tucker's really good, but he's always hurt. You know, Tomlinson's been okay. McGovern's been okay. He has not done anything to help us off the line. Not a damn thing. Year in and year out, their O-line sucks. And Joe Douglas continues to just ignore that issue. And I don't understand. I just don't. Not one bit. But this guy Saleh, every week it's the same stuff with this guy. Penalties. They're undisciplined. They're probably underprepared. They're making stupid mistakes that should be fixed easily in practice. He just won't do anything. I saw the guy I thought the Jets were getting, this really energetic guy on the sideline that we saw in San Francisco, that he was when he got here. You know, players love him. He's a bundle of energy. You know, great coach, leader of men. You know, he sits on the side with this blank stare on his face, stupid like Silvio from The Sopranos, a little stupid mug on his face. The dude's given up. He's not head coach material. He's just not. He's clueless and has no idea what he's doing. I kind of get why he hired Hackett to get Rodgers. And that's on Joe Douglas for not having a solid contingency plan. At the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers was going into his age 39 season, coming off one of the worst years of his career. Still decent, especially considering the weapons he had in Green Bay last year, but still, coming off one of the worst years for a few years for him. He's 39 years old. Whenever you're bringing a veteran quarterback like that in the offseason, you're sorry. It's always risk, you know. What if they get hurt? What if they fall off all of a sudden? He should have had a better contingency plan, and he didn't. His contingency plan was Zach Wilson, and look how that's worked out. He should have said, all right, Zach's not the guy. All right, my bad. Get rid of him and get somebody else in here. And when Rodgers went down, he should have been calling people left and right. Whether that's the Colts to try to get Gardner Minshew before Anthony Richardson got hurt, whether that's, you know, somebody. Hell, Josh Dobbs. Somebody, you know. Hell, I would have taken Carson Wentz, who's horrible. I mean, obviously, he's not in the league. He was only in the league until about a couple weeks ago. He got picked up off the street. You know, sign somebody off the street, somebody. And he didn't do it. And now Zach Wilson's been benched for Tim Boyle. Like, that's going to do anything. I mean, at least Tim Boyle knows the offense. I'm done with Zach Wilson. You know, they're definitely from not blaming Saleh on that. I mean, there's nothing they can do there. He's not the main culprit here. It's, you know, Zach Wilson's atrocious. You know, the offensive roster construction when it comes to the offensive line on Joe Douglas. You know, they've had some injuries. And I know it's Saleh's defense, but also look at the talent he's got. Like, come on. And just every week with the penalties, a lot of times the same players. Every week, it's the same thing. He's given up. He's clueless. Great defensive coordinator, not a head coach. He should go at the end of the year. As should Joe Douglas. As should Zach Wilson. That whole staff. I'm done with it. Another year down the draft for Jets. They will not be going to the playoffs. They're 4-6. They're 2 games out behind Pittsburgh. You know, I don't think they beat Miami either time. Maybe they can beat Washington. They suck. We'll get to the NFL games in a little while. Maybe they beat New England at the end of the year. New England's probably a little worse than them, but they also haven't beaten New England in 8 years. So I don't know. And the most just thing to do is, you know, Patriots are 3-13 in week 18. The Jets are 6-11 or 7-9 or something. Both teams fans are just disgusted of how the year went. Especially Jets fans, because it's year in, because we thought they'd be a great team, and year in and year out they've been disgusted. At least the Patriots fans now could kind of see this year possibly not being great. Maybe not this bad, but could possibly see themselves not making the playoffs. Plus, they won 6 championships not too long ago. At least they were able to witness that. Both teams were like, all right, just end the season already. And for the Jets, like, all right, your draft pick at this point, it's going to be where it is. A win or loss won't, cost you a shot, generational quarterback or anything like that. Go out and beat the Patriots, and just end the season, and they'll lose. The most Jets thing ever. Hope it doesn't happen. At this point, I don't know what to say. Terrible, 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 terrible. Awful. That's my rant on the Jets. We're going to get to the results from NFL and college football in a little bit. Got some other things to talk about first. Draymond Green was suspended 5 games a few days ago. This is a fight with Rudy Gobert, and he is such a scumbag, Draymond Green. Great defender, very good player. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer personally, but he'll probably get in. He made a couple All-Star teams, was all NBA defense a few times, 4 championships. This is going to push him in. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, to be honest. He made a living off, passing the ball, Stephen Curry at the end of the day. But, he'll probably get pushed in. But the dude's such a scumbag. Every week with this guy, it's something else. Something he said, something he did. He's such a scumbag, Draymond. Very dirty player. There's compilations of him just being dirty, from, the dirty kick to Steven Adams multiple times, and getting suspended for Game 5 of the finals in 2016, which to me cost them the championship. They were rolling Golden State. He's healthy, and they had his defensive presence in Game 5. I think they win that game, and they win the championship, and LeBron would only have 3 championships instead of 4. And, Steph and Clay and Draymond would have 5. And KD, KD would have 3. So, just absolutely just complete scumbag. And this whole thing, and there's so many arguments of him stomping out just a bonus last year in the first round, getting suspended for, what was it, Game 2 or 3 of the first round. I think Game 3 he got suspended last year in the first round against the Kings. He's always getting 18, 20 tackles a season, gets ejected several times a year. Dude's just a scumbag and a dirty player. Great defender, great player, but absolute scumbag, and he's got a big mouth as well. All right, so the Oakland A's are moving to Las Vegas, and it's been approved by baseball. In 2020, they will be moving to Oakland, moving out of Oakland into Las Vegas. I'm glad they're getting out of Oakland. It sucks for the fans because they've lost a few sports teams. The Warriors, 2019, went from Oakland to San Francisco. Then you had the Oakland Raiders a couple of years ago go from Oakland to Las Vegas, and now Vegas took another Oakland team. The Oakland A's will be leaving in 2028, so it sucks for the fans. The owner, John Fisher, is a clown. He just doesn't know what he's doing. He's not even trying at this point. But, he's moving the team to Las Vegas in 2028. It's just time. And the stadium's falling apart, but team's completely falling apart. They gotta get out of there. How much of a market there will be, I don't know. Obviously the Las Vegas, they already have the Raiders over there. So I'm not sure, how much else they had the Las Vegas Golden Knights, who, were into expansion team, now in their 7th year as a team, they won the Stanley Cup last year. So how much fan base will they have? I don't know. This is going to be a long process because that team, they've blown it up completely. There really isn't any guy in that team that's really a true trade chip. And there isn't a ton of blue chip products in their system either where they can really build a legit good team even in the next 4 years before they move. So they're probably going to be stuck in the basement of the league for the next 4 or 5 seasons. And even when they get to Vegas, I don't know, you think, all right, will they be less cheap when they're in a bigger market? Because Oakland is a smaller market, and then you go to Vegas, which is obviously a much bigger market. At the end of the day, it's the same owner. John Fisher's still the owner. Whether it's it reads Oakland or it reads Las Vegas, is wherever the team is, he's one that's moving the team. It's the same guy. I don't know why he would change. Why would this change? So they might legitimately looking at a 10-year rebuild. I mean, rebuilds in baseball take a lot longer anyway. The Orioles took, 3 or 4 years, and even that was even considered a little quick. A lot of people thought they were going to be, as good as they were this year for at least another year or 2. Well, a lot of times it's not like, in football where you could do it in a year or 2, or basketball you can do it even in 2 or 3 years, or hockey you can do it in a year or 2. Baseball, a lot of time it takes 3, 4, 5 years. Oakland, I mean, they're historically bad last year. They're probably going to be historically bad next year as well, and the year after. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Their entire time they're left in Oakland, they're still atrocious because they're not willing to improve a team. There's no really way to improve it because there's no one they can really trade to get anything back for. Because of how bad our team is. There's no one really in the minor leagues. Not too many guys in the minor league that are going to come up and make a difference. So they're going to be stuck in mediocrity until they get to Vegas. And once they get to Vegas, hopefully things turn around. But they're going to suck their way out of Oakland, and then it's going to take a while once they get to Vegas. So they're going to be stuck in the basement league probably for a long time. There's nothing they can really do in Oakland right now. There's nothing left to be done. You already know that the team is moving. I mean, the E10 rates were already low enough in Oakland. It's going to continue to get low because the owner isn't trying. And how do you support a baseball team when the owner clearly is telling you, the fans, I don't care? And now he's moving the team in 4 years, 4 or 5 years. Like, why would you? It's expensive enough in California. It's expensive enough to live in California. Like, why would a fan spend all this money on the team when they don't care when it's expensive enough just living there? Like, it makes no sense. Also, Oakland's not a very good area either. So it's just complete. This is just complete unfortunate situation. It sucks for everybody. And I'm glad they're moving to Vegas because Oakland it wasn't meant. It's just not meant for baseball anymore. It was at one point, but it's not anymore. It's just not. We had some MLB awards come out. Cy Young's came out. Garrett Coleman's his first Cy Young of his career in the American League for the New York Yankees. So shout out to him. He had a phenomenal year. One of the very few positive notes on an overall really tough Yankee season. Yankees have one of the worst years in their franchise history, missing the playoffs. We're barely above 500, but Garrett Coleman's a Cy Young. And the National League, it was Blake Snell of the San Diego Padres who wins the Cy Young for the Padres, one of the few saving graces of a very bad Padres season. Of course, they fell very short of expectations. And now Blake Snell will be a free agent, so he should get a big contract probably in the next couple of weeks. And the MVP came out. Ronald Acuna won the National League. No surprise there. He had 330 with 40 homers and 70 stolen bases. First MLB player ever with 40 homers and 70 steals. Congrats to him. I hate the Braves. I'm not the biggest Acuna fan, but he's an incredible player. He had an historically great year. And then Shohei Ohtani won the American League. No surprise there. The guy missed 27 games and still won the American League in home runs, had these crazy numbers, and was one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's about to get a very large contract. The Atlanta Braves, speaking of the Braves, they have been very busy on the trade market. They traded for White Sox reliever Aaron Bummer. They gave up a lot in the deal. They gave up Mike Soroka, who obviously his career has been ravaged by injuries the last 3 or 4 years. But in 2019 looked like a star in the making. They gave up Jacob Schuster, who's a young pitcher who pitched out of the bullpen for them this year. Nicky Lopez, a young infielder. They basically picked up off the street and they threw him in the lineup because they had some injuries to Ozzie Albies, and he actually played very well. Great infielder, is a pretty good contact hitter, and then they get a couple prospects as well. It was Braden Shoemake and Riley Goins. I mean, it seems a little aggressive. Aaron Bummer, he had a tough year last year, but in the past, he's been a very good late inning reliever, so they're definitely counting on the bounce back. And then they signed Kyle Wright to Kansas City for a prospect in Jackson Cower. Cower a couple years ago looked like an all-star in the making, then he's kind of really fallen off a cliff. More top prospect, but he goes to Kansas City. And they signed Reynaldo Lopez to a 3-year, $30 million deal. He was a top pitching prospect at one point, came up in Washington. He was in that, of course, very infamous deal where Adam Eaton went to Washington, and then the White Sox got Lucas Giolito, Reynaldo Lopez, and Dane Dunning. Of course, none of those guys are on the White Sox anymore. As a starter, he was a full-time starter for a couple of years. Really wasn't great. But last year between the White Sox and the Angels, had a good year out of the bullpen, for 3.2 year out of the bullpen between the White Sox and the Angels. And he joined the Braves. The bullpen was okay last year. Could have been better. They have a 3.81 team ERA, so clearly they're trying to address the bullpen. They bring in Aaron Bummer and Reynaldo Lopez. So that's what the Braves been doing. The Mariners make a move to get Luis Urias from the Red Sox. They're an infielder. Her pitching prospect Isaiah Campbell. So the Mariners make a small move there. There'll be non-tendered the deadline passed. Some of the bigger names that were non-tendered. Brendan Woodruff of the Brewers, who's one of the better starting pitchers in baseball when he's healthy. Just had surgery, so he is not going to pitch this year, and he was going to be a free agent. Bruce didn't want to pay him $11.6 million to not play and have him be a free agent, so they non-tendered him. So he is gone. We'll see what he does in free agency. The Brewers also non-tendered Rowdy Tellez, the first baseman. Got a lot of power. I mean, he's a guy who kills right-handed pitching, but doesn't really hit lefties, at all, and isn't a great first baseman. So non-tendered him. The Twins non-tendered Kyle Farmer. He was another name. He's a nice utility player. You had Raymond Urias, the Orioles, who's a decent player they had. They non-tendered. He was probably going to make around $4.7 million. The Cardinals non-tendered Dakota Hudson. When he first came up, it looked like a potential really good arm, but injuries have kind of ruined his career to this point. Guardians non-tendered James Karinchak, at one point looked like a lights-out reliever. Had some injuries and some control issues. Some Males is another guy who's probably going to get non-tendered. So there's a lot of guys who got non-tendered. Every year in the NBA is always a few slightly bigger names, but the biggest one was definitely Brandon Woodruff. I know the Mets they non-tendered Daniel Vogelbach. Thank God, awful for DH. And then Luis Guillorme was a little surprised by that, as he's a good in here with a little bit of contact. But then they non-tendered him, and then a couple of other randos: Sam Conrad, Jeff Brigham. Who cares? Trevor Gott, a couple of really bad relievers. That's that. Bradley Beal's out the next 3 weeks for the Phoenix Suns. That team is going to be a disaster. They can't stay healthy. Too many cooks in the kitchen. It's not going to work out. Tell you right now, not going to work out. We have a very interesting story before we get to all the football games. We had Bernard Williams was just cut by the Eagles. You might think, who the heck is that? It was a linebacker who's 51 years old and has not played football in 29 years. 29 years ago, he was suspended. He was an athlete that was suspended, and he never applied for reinstatement. So he just stayed suspended on the Eagles suspended list, and they finally cut him 29 years after his last game. So that was a bit of a fun fact that happened in NFL this past week. Well, let's get to the game picks now for college. We got top-ranked Georgia over number 18 Tennessee, 38-10. Connor Beckers for 298 and 3 touchdowns. Georgia remained undefeated. And tomorrow night we'll get the college football playoff rankings heading into this next week. Number 2 Ohio State rolls over Minnesota 37-3. No surprise there. Number 3 Michigan beats Maryland 31-24, so they escape with that win. Actually, they're a 1,000th career win in the program history. Of course, no Jim Harbaugh. He's not coaching the rest of the regular season. Number 4 Florida State beats North Alabama 58-13, but unfortunately they lose Jordan Travis. They actually went down 13-0 after a quarter. Their starting quarterback Jordan Travis had a phenomenal year, was a Heisman candidate. He broke his leg and is out for the season. A really tough break for Florida State, who came in the 4th best team in the country. Really tough break, so we'll see if they can still make the college football playoff. But tough break for Jordan Travis, who has a chance of being a higher pick in this year's draft. Number 5 Washington skates past number 11 Oregon State 22-20. Number 6 Oregon over Arizona State 49-13. Number 7 Texas over Iowa State 26-16. Number 8 Alabama over Chattanooga 66-10. They blew them out of the water. Number 9 Missouri over Florida 33-31. Missouri escapes the win. Missouri's in the top 10. That's crazy. Number 10 Louisville over Miami 38-31. Number 12 Penn State over Rutgers 27-6. Number 13 Ole Miss over UL Monroe 35-3. UL Monroe sucks. Number 14 Oklahoma gets past BYU 31-24. had a 100-yard pick six in that game, Oklahoma. Number 15, LSU beats Georgia State 56-14. Number 16, Iowa beats Illinois 15-13. Typical. That's thought games Iowa's going to win when they're low scoring because of how bad that offense is. Number 17, Arizona beats number 22, Utah 42-18. Number 19, Notre Dame beats Wake Forest 45-7. Unranked Clemson beats number 20, UNC 31-20. UNC's season really slipped away from them these last month or so. Number 21, Kansas State beats number 25, Kansas 31-27. Number 23, Oklahoma State beats Houston 43-30. And number 24, Tulane beats Florida Atlantic 24-8. College football playoff could get interesting this year. Probably will have Alabama there, which would be very, very weird. All right, so let's go to the NFL games now. At the Ravens over the Bengals, 34-20 on Thursday Night Football. Tough break for the Bengals. Joe Burrow, he came out with a wrist injury. He has a torn ligament. He's going to have surgery. He is out for the season. That is a really tough break for Bengals. Obviously, they sit at 5-5 now, and now they're going to have to throw over Jake Browning, who's never really played before. A really tough break for Cincinnati Bengals. They lose to the Ravens on prime time. Lamar threw for 264 and 2 touchdowns. Ravens are 8-3, playing really well this year. Browns over the Steelers 13-10. That Browns defense is phenomenal. They have only given up 18 points a game. Kenny Pickett was off through for only 106 yards. That'd be time to think about maybe they should start Kenny Pickett at this point. Because God, to me, start Mitch Trubisky at this point. Because God, Kenny Pickett is horrible. They're still 6-4. So right there in the playoff picture. I believe they're in playoff position right now. Lions over the Bears, 31-26. The Lions were down. They were actually down 24-14 going into the fourth quarter. And they overcome a 12-point lead. Throws picks in the game, but he comes back and leaves the win. Yeah, the Packers over the Chargers 23-20. I don't know why Brandon Staley still has a job. But by Quentin Johnson, good God, he's horrible. How he was drafted over Jordan Addison, I have no idea. And Brandon Staley, leave. Get out. He's absolutely terrible. I mean, Jordan Love looked like freaking Justin Herbert out there. How is he this smart defensively, apparently, and the defense is that bad every year? I don't understand. So both teams now at 4-6. Dolphins over the Raiders, 20-13. Nothing really to see there. Giants over the Commanders, 31-19. Good God, the Commanders are bad. They had 9 sacks and still lost. That defense sucks. I mean, Tommy DeVito looked like freaking Pat Mahomes. Also, their offensive line is much better than the Giants. Their O-line's also horrible. The whole staff is going to be gone at the end of the year. Cowboys over the Panthers, 30-10. Panthers suck. They're 1-9. Bryce Young, another rough game. Jaguars over the Titans, 34-14. Big game from Trevor Lawrence as well as Calvin Ridley. Texans over the Cardinals, 16. CJ Stroud actually threw 3 picks, but Texans escaped with another win. They get to 6-4. 49ers over the Bucks, 27-14. A great game from Brock Purdy. Bills over the Jets, 32-6. We talked about that one already. Josh Allen actually played very well. Rams over the Seahawks, 17-16 as they upset the Seahawks for the second time this season. And then the Broncos beat the Vikings 21-20. Russell Wilson game touchdown pass to Courtland Sutton. Broncos won 4 in a row. They're back to 5-5. Kudos to them. That's an absolute shock. And kudos to Russell Wilson. He's had a much better year. He's actually played very well this year. All right. That's all I got for you guys today. I may or may not do something tomorrow. I'm not sure. So keep your eyes peeled. But until next time, so long. Have a great day.